Warning signs every mother should notice in her child's boyfriend. Explained by Carl Jung.
In this video, we explore the subtle signs every mother should notice in a boyfriend or stepfather, using Carl Jung's deep psychology and philosophy as a guide. The narrative reveals the archetypes of a harmful stepfather: the controller, the manipulator, the distancer, the intimidator, and the inconsistent, showing how every gesture, silence, or repeated pattern carries valuable information about character and intentions. With an intimate and engaging approach, the video connects mothers' emotional pain to conscious awareness, weaving in supporting philosophers to enrich reflection and insights from neuroscience and evolutionary psychology to explain why certain behaviors deeply affect a child and the family. The story follows a path that moves from unconscious perception through the identification of harmful patterns to practical strategies for action, protection, and emotional strength. Each part prepares the viewer for conscious decisions, reinforcing self-esteem, intuition, and a sense of belonging. In the end, the narrative offers practical advice, protective tools, and an emotional call to action, encouraging mothers to observe, reflect, and act with clarity, love, and prudence, ensuring emotional safety and family stability. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Have you ever felt, even without words, that something is not right with someone who has entered your child's life? A smile that feels calculated, a gesture that carries silent tension, an attention that disappears when you need it most. Jung reminds us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. What you sense is more than instinct. It is the shadow revealing itself, exposing hidden behavioral patterns that can affect your family's emotional safety. In this narrative, we explore the archetypes of a harmful stepfather, the masks hidden behind seemingly harmless gestures, the controller, who seeks to dominate and impose rules without listening, the manipulator, who seduces and alternates between kindness and coldness to create dependency, the distancer, who remains detached and neglectful, the intimidator, who uses fear and aggression to control, and the inconsistent, whose unpredictability breeds emotional instability. Each of these archetypes leaves subtle traces, signs that only an attentive eye, guided by the unconscious, can decode. Jung teaches us that recognizing these shadows is not paranoia, but active awareness. A mother's intuition is a tool refined by love and experience. It notices what logic often ignores. Every repeated gesture, every calculated silence, every double-edged word is a piece of the puzzle of true character, revealing intentions and patterns of behavior. Imagine silent titles echoing in the mind: the smile that hides between affection and control, the silence that intimidates. Each warning, no matter how small, is a light that illuminates the other's unconscious and helps a mother protect her child. To observe is not to distrust. It is to prevent, to understand, and to act with conscious prudence. There is still much more to uncover. In the next part, we will dive into emotional pain and feminine identification, exploring how archetypes shape feelings and relationships, while introducing supporting philosophers to deepen the reflection. From woman to woman, there is a silent pain many mothers feel when they observe their child's partner. A restlessness that cannot be expressed in words but appears as a weight in the chest, a constant doubt. Jung reminds us that the unconscious is wise and reveals hidden truths that the conscious mind has not yet reached. Every sense of discomfort in the face of subtle gestures, calculated words, or mood shifts is the unconscious signaling hidden patterns. Supporting philosophers like Aristotle help us understand that character is revealed in habits and actions, not in promises or pretty words. A stepfather who is controlling, manipulative, or inconsistent does not expose his true character in isolated gestures, but in repeated patterns that attentive observation can decode. This awareness is painful because it confronts expectations of trust and love, yet it is essential for protecting the child. Picture yourself in small everyday moments. He reacts poorly to questions, ignores emotional needs, shifts between affection and coldness. Every action leaves traces, every silence carries intent. The controller imposes rules without dialogue. The manipulator seduces and confuses. The distancer remains aloof. The intimidator uses fear. The inconsistent creates instability. Recognizing these patterns means seeing reality before it becomes harmful or unbearable. The Bible reminds us, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Proverbs 14:16. The pain you feel in response to subtle signs is not weakness, but active awareness. It is love that observes, questions, and protects. Jung emphasizes that bringing both the other's unconscious and our own into the light is the key to conscious and secure decisions. There is still more to explore. In the next part, we will dive deeper into this pain, examining how these patterns emotionally affect both mother and child, preparing the ground for understanding how to act with clarity and strength. The silent pain you feel when faced with the stepfather's subtle gestures is not only emotional, it is a profound warning, a message from the unconscious about recurring behavioral patterns that affect everyone around. Jung reminds us that the shadow manifests not only within us but also in others, and recognizing these patterns requires attention and courage. Each small gesture, an evasive glance, a veiled criticism, a calculated kindness, reveals hidden layers of character and intention. Supporting philosophers like Aristotle reinforce that true character is revealed in habits, not in words. A controlling or manipulative stepfather shows his shadow through repetitive actions, while the inconsistent one leaves traces of emotional instability that both mother and child silently feel. The pain comes from the awareness of these patterns, from the clash between what we want to believe and what our unconscious perceives. Imagine the silent tension of everyday moments. He promises attention and then withdraws. He praises, but manipulates. He shows affection but instills fear. Each archetype leaves subtle marks. The controller dominates, the manipulator seduces and confuses, the distancer evades, the intimidator imposes, the inconsistent creates uncertainty. Recognizing these patterns is not paranoia. It is prudence in action, a form of love that protects. This deep pain may cause anxiety and insecurity, but it also awakens strength and clarity. Jung teaches us that bringing the other's unconscious to awareness allows us to act with intention, protecting both the child and ourselves. Each feeling of discomfort is a light along the path, an opportunity to notice, reflect, and prepare for action. There is still more to uncover. In the next part, we will explore the turning point, showing how awareness of these patterns can transform into strength, hope, and active strategies of protection, laying the foundation for practical solutions. After diving into the pain and recognizing the patterns of the harmful stepfather archetypes, a powerful turning point arises. Pain does not need to paralyze. It can awaken awareness, clarity, and inner strength. Jung teaches us that the shadow is only dangerous when it remains unconscious. When we bring to light the signs, gestures, and hidden patterns, we turn fear into power, warning into protection. Every discomfort becomes more than suffering. It becomes a tool for conscious action. Supporting philosophers, like Aristotle and Machiavelli, emphasize that virtue and prudence lie in consistent action, in paying attention to habits, and in making clear decisions. Observing the stepfather's signs, whether control, manipulation, distance, intimidation, or inconsistency, allows for healthy boundaries, protection of the child, and preservation of emotional integrity. Awareness of the unconscious is not fear, it is wisdom applied to daily life. Imagine the mother who was once anxious now observing with attention. She notices patterns, interprets gestures, understands intentions. Each suspicious gesture becomes light, each calculated silence a warning, each inconsistency an opportunity to act. Conscious perception transforms vulnerability into strength. Jung reminds us that the one who looks inward awakens. And by observing another's shadow, the mother awakens her own capacity for action and protection. There is still more to explore. In the next part, we will present practical paths, concrete strategies, and protective tools, integrating neuroscience and evolutionary psychology so that awareness can become safe and empowering action. Now that you have noticed the signs, faced the pain, and understood the archetypes of a harmful stepfather, it is time to transform perception into safe, concrete actions. Jung reminds us that bringing the shadow into the light, both the others and our own, is essential to act with clarity. Every suspicious gesture, every observed inconsistency, every instance of control or manipulation becomes a map for conscious decisions. Neuroscience explains why this awareness is so powerful. The female brain, shaped by evolutionary psychology, is highly sensitive to social and emotional signals. The amygdala quickly identifies patterns of threat, while the prefrontal cortex interprets and decides strategies for action. This means intuition and reason work together, offering protection not only emotionally but also practically for both you and your child. Concrete practices help you apply this awareness. Observe the stepfather's repeated habits. Record behaviors that create discomfort. Set clear boundaries. And talk with someone you trust about what you have noticed. Build protection strategies that include supervision, dialogue, and preparing the child emotionally. By doing this, you reinforce self-esteem, safety, and resilience, transforming alertness into active strength. Evolutionary psychology shows that every child learns patterns of safety and trust through the consistency of the adults around them. An inconsistent, controlling, or manipulative stepfather affects emotional development, but by recognizing the signs and acting consciously, you create a stable and secure environment. Supporting philosophers remind us that virtue lies in daily practice, to observe, reflect, decide, and act with prudence. There is still more ahead. In the next and final part, we will bring everything together strategically, summarizing practical advice, reinforcing the mother's strength, and creating a short teaser for the next video, encouraging engagement and a sense of belonging. We have now reached the moment to turn perception, pain, and learning into concrete action. Jung reminds us that bringing the unconscious into the light gives us clarity to act wisely, protecting what we love. You now understand the archetypes of the harmful stepfather, the controller, the manipulator, the distancer, the intimidator, and the inconsistent. And you know that every gesture, silence, or repeated pattern is a valuable clue. Here are 3 practical pieces of advice to apply in daily life. Observe without judgment. Record gestures, attitudes, and behavior patterns, paying attention to consistency and repetition. Set clear boundaries. Speak firmly and protectively, defining what is acceptable for you and your child. Build a support network. Share what you notice with trusted people, strengthening emotional and collective safety. Active awareness is not fear. It is applied wisdom, love that protects, and courage that turns pain into strength. Every small warning you notice is an opportunity to act, preventing risks and ensuring emotional stability. Jung reinforces that looking inward awakens. Observing another's shadow makes you stronger, and this is only the beginning. In the next video, we will explore how to strengthen a child's emotional bonds even when facing complex figures, creating resilience and lasting confidence. Stay tuned, because the next part will reveal unique strategies that combine psychology, philosophy, and maternal intuition. If you haven't subscribed yet, like and share, so more mothers can learn to recognize warning signs and protect their children. Every gesture you make matters. Every conscious action is a step toward safety and clarity.